Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy here. Week number 6 recap, also studs and duds, injury updates, and of course, waiver wire additions. A decent week for waivers. AJ, what's up, man? How was your fantasy weekend?
Man, this was probably my best week of fantasy this season. I'm in 4 leagues that I'm paying good attention to.
You.
My main one, what I put up this week, 182, 183, something like that.
I hate that we started this podcast in like your best year of fantasy ever.
Hey, so I told my wife,
I
may have mentioned this on another episode. I told my wife, like, babe, of all the years that I've told you about my fantasy team, to which you've not cared at all, this is the year.
This is the year. Get ready, babe.
Team I've ever had.
Get ready.
So just keep ignoring me, but
did want to start here with a couple of monster injuries in the fantasy world. Puka Nacua was getting ready to reset the record book for wide receivers, and he goes down with a foot injury, a foot strain, I think what they're calling it, tendon strain. Tendon strain, suspected to be back by week 9. They have a week 8 bye, and so maybe week 9 at the earliest. That's going to kill a lot of teams. I'm sure he was pretty much carrying the teams he was on to wins, and they're going to have to kind of, it's hard to pivot from someone that you took that high, because it wasn't exactly a secret. At least he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But fallout from Puka Nacua, I know we'll probably mention this a little later, but just immediate fallout. Obviously a bump to Devontae. What else do you see?
Well, the thing about Puka Nacua, I think in this, depending on when you drafted, he may have been a second-round pick because there was all the Matt Stafford back stuff, discussion going on. So he fell a little bit. So he really was kind of that league winner where you may have gotten a guy like Justin Jefferson or Christian McCaffrey and then hit the turn right there with Puka Nacua at the second. So this does hurt either way. As far as the immediate impact, I wouldn't worry too much for 2 reasons. Number one, like you said, they're going into this week in London, and then they've got the bye. I think the fact that they're playing in London, like London and then a bye, is the perfect scenario to say get some rest, no matter to what degree the injury is. And then number 2, this is just the Puka Nacua experience.
Yep.
You know at some point he's going to miss time, however long or however short it may be. That's exactly why I traded for Devontae Adams in our league. I figured at some point this is going to pay off.
He's going down.
At some point it's going to pay off, and then it might go right back to Puka getting 14, 15 targets. So this is just the Puka Nacua experience. He always misses at least a little bit of time, and I think he'll be right back at it right after the bye.
Yeah, so rookie season, he didn't miss any, but then in the second year, right off the bat, he missed got hurt that first game and missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So
because he just plays so hard.
He plays so hard. He plays so much. And they're constantly throwing him the football, and he doesn't, like you said, he plays so he doesn't go down very easily. He's fighting through tackles and stuff like that. I think best case scenario, that's just a foot sprain. It's not like a high ankle sprain. It's not a broken anything. Because when it first happened, I was like, oh no, like that seems worse than it is. But yeah, Puka Nacua, definitely keep an eye on that one. And we'll mention throughout the podcast today, guys, you could pivot to on the cheap. Emeka Egbuka is the other guy who went down with a hamstring injury. It hasn't come out yet, the severity. We know recently, I don't know what, have hamstrings gotten worse? I feel like growing up, hamstrings like, oh, okay, he's good.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like every season we have a handful of guys who have this hamstring thing that tends to linger too. Like Mike Evans has had it for like 2 or 3 years now.
Right.
Like given he is a little aged, but yeah, hamstrings are like they're biting us this year.
The thing about Emeka Egbuka too, I was thinking about it, is that the Buccaneers team that Emeka Egbuka comes back to is going to be very different.
Mm-hmm.
Godwin's going to be ramped up a little bit more. Evans will be back. Bucky Irving will be back. Jalen McMillan will be back. It'll be just a very different team. Not to mention all these guys now who are getting reps they're going to be in at some point. They're going to be able to cycle receivers now that you've seen that these lower depth chart guys are capable of impacting the game. You saw big plays yesterday from Cameron Johnston and was it Tez Johnson?
Tez Johnson. Yeah.
Those guys, go off in their absence. and it just might not matter with Baker Mayfield. But Emeka Egbuka going down. Do you have any of his backups in your later stuff, or can we talk about this right now?
No, we can talk about it right now.
Okay, so him going out immediately. Are you making any moves for these backups, or is it too unpredictable?
I think it's really unpredictable with those guys you just mentioned, Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson, if I remember correctly. See, I don't even know his name. I'd rather pivot towards somebody like Cade Otton, who's been in this offense for multiple years. And you're not going to get a 25-point game out of someone like that, but he's somebody you can put into the tight end position that has been just awful this year. It's been awful for the last couple of years when all you're looking for is some consistency. And I think he'll probably end up with 8 to 10 targets as long as there's some guys like Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin missing time. I think Chris Godwin's going to miss some time now as well.
That's a scary one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As far as the other guys, I mean, I'd go ahead and put in a waiver claim for one of them.
Let me throw the trio at you here. Okay. It's Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard, or Cameron Johnson.
Man, I think I'd have Sterling Shepard at the top of that list, just again for continuity's sake. Yeah, and just he has some built chemistry with Baker Mayfield over the last couple of years.
Bucks are hopeful that Evans, who was out with a hamstring, will return to practice this week. So we'll see if he comes back, and if he does come back, how long he stays there. But it's a fluid situation. But the thing is, it's such an electric offense. You want a piece of it. Yeah. And so put in your waivers just in case. Mm-hmm. Just in case you do end up with Tez Johnson, as maybe he's the guy now until Egbuka and Godwin are back. So I would pick up one of those guys.
I think it's dependent on your situation. Like if you are struggling and you've got a flex spot that you have nobody to put there, then that's where you go get one of those guys. But don't just go pick one of them up and I wouldn't drop a solid handcuff running back for one of these guys.
Let's move AJ to studs and duds for week number 6, looking back at the guys who killed it and the guys who got killed. I like that. Let's get the guys who killed it first. Why don't you get us started?
Yeah, I'm going with one of my MVP favorites. That's quarterback Drake Maye. He is now set
MVP favorites.
Yeah, I think so. So. He is now set at quarterback 5 in fantasy.
Yeah.
And he's just doing it every week. His one off week was last week against Buffalo. He had 13.1 fantasy points. Got the win, though. Other than that, week 1, he had 16.7. After that, 26, 20, 23. And last night he had, or not last night, but over the weekend, he had 27 points, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And the rushing, it's the rushing. He had 9 attempts. He only had 28 rushing yards. But the dude is just running the football. There's designed runs for him, and he's just electric. Like he is right under that top 5 mark where there's like the your Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. I think you slot Drake Maye into that tier. I think you slot him into that top tier for the rest of the season.
I think this new. I don't know, maybe it's not new, but we haven't seen it for a while. This new style of running quarterback where you're not Lamar Jackson, where you can take 15 carries and do 100 whatever yards. But look what Patrick Mahomes is doing this year with his feet. That kind of running quarterback where you've learned how to be a red zone weapon is very, very valuable. And it's nice because the risk of injury is also very much lower. Because the volume of running's down, it's just you've become an incredibly efficient rusher, and that on top of a passer like some of these guys are, and it's like okay, like Dak Prescott, he used to be that way kind of. Yeah, he's kind of slowed down a little bit now with all the injuries, but that's kind of how he was as well. Daniel Jones is that way. Mm-hmm. AJ, let me ask you this: Drake Maye rest of the season against these guys. Ready? Dak Prescott,
Drake Maye,
Justin Herbert,
Drake Maye.
Yeah, Daniel Jones,
Drake Maye,
Jared Goff.
Drake Maye. I named Matthew my guys that I would put above him. It's the top 5 and then Drake Maye. And you just brought up the red zone rushing. He ran in a 2-point conversion. That's exactly like you can't ask for more than that. And it's just that's a free 2 points right there.
Here's one. Those are the rest of the top 10 guys. That's why I asked you those names.
Okay.
Here's a good one: Drake Maye rest of the season or Jaden Daniels.
So
that's a tough one.
For me, it's Drake Maye. Now, I added Jaden Daniels into that list a few seconds earlier because I know what the Jaden Daniels truthers are going to say. But me personally, I'm taking Drake Maye over Jaden Daniels the rest of the season.
You heard it here first. AJ Woodson. I'm
not taking him over Jalen Hurts, though. That's my baby lamb.
Killer here. For week number 6, and really the whole season is Patrick Mahomes, quarterback out of KC. I don't want to be too obvious about it, but I didn't want to go through a whole year where QB1 isn't mentioned in the studs and duds, and that's where he is right now. He's QB1 on the year. Yesterday, 22 for 30, 257, 3 touchdowns, and then had that touchdown through the ground as well. And he has mastered the using his legs as a weapon in the red zone and in those short yardage situations. And it's taken him to another level fantasy wise this year because he's running the ball regularly. He's scoring touchdowns with his legs regularly. And now he's getting weapons back. The addition with Rashee Rice and this guy, I think might hurt a little bit his rushing because I think they're going to be able to score through the air a little bit better. Rashee Rice is a weapon in the red zone. But still, I think just the passing touchdowns that he'll have is gonna even everything out, and he has a real chance to finish as QB1 because none of these other guys are really lighting it up that much. Baker doesn't run much. Josh Allen is kind of up and down this year. Same with Jalen Hurts, and then I don't know if Drake Maye has a juice to get all the way up to number 1. So we literally might be looking at the QB1 on the year here with Patrick Mahomes, and just want to bring it up because he's absolutely balling. And you talk about fantasy draft value. I didn't even look at his average draft position, but I guarantee. I wonder if they have it here on Sleeper.
Well, there was ADP. A 12-team league I'm in that he was there in the 8th.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, all these guys were taken ahead of him. Everyone that we mentioned in the quarterback realm, taken ahead of him, and yet here he's a QB1. Wanted to bring up Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, the big thing here is that red zone running. You can almost guarantee there's going to be an attempt for him to get a rushing touchdown once they're within 10.
They ran a straight up option, like a straight option, high school play.
And he's so good at it. He almost he looks this year like prime Russell Wilson did in the red zone with the rushing touchdown, with the kind of breaking out right, juking a defender and just skating into the end zone. And when you watch the Chiefs. Absolutely, obviously, this is an obvious statement for the quarterback. But if you watch the games, it makes more sense. Everything is flowing through him. Right. They are not relying on a running back to get them down the field. It is all him. Their running backs are getting you your short yardage on 3rd or 2nd and 2. That's really the only scenarios that they're using the running back. Everything is flowing through Patrick Mahomes, and he's just. We said he might go scorched earth this season, and it's happening.
Yeah, only under 30 attempts one game this year. So 30 attempts and above, a high of 41, and then 30 this week. He's throwing the ball a lot, and he's running into the red zone. It's everything you want in a fantasy quarterback right now. Duds, AJ, you got one?
Yeah, sticking with the Patriots. Treyveyon Henderson is just, and it's not his fault. This is alarming though. He only had 30% of the snaps. In this game on Sunday. Ramondre Stevenson took 72%. 13 carries for Ramondre Stevenson. Joe, you want to guess how many yards he had? Under 30?
I got him say, I heard this already with the show I watched this morning, but I know it's under. I know it's
he had 18
well under.
Yards.
Yeah.
He had 18 yards on 13 carries.
That's a classic Ramondre.
I don't know if it's going to happen because they're winning. And
right,
like Patrick Mahomes, everything's going through Drake Maye. I don't know that they're ever going to rely on Treyveyon Henderson this season. So it sucks where you took him. I think he was going in he had climbed up to about the 4th round towards the end of draft season. He had started off at about the 6th and 7th round range as training camp talk started going on, as pages like this started really going on about him. His draft stock started to climb, and I think he was going around the 4th round once we got closer to the start of the season, and you're just not getting any return. If he wasn't drafted, I was going to say, if he wasn't drafted where he was in the NFL draft, or if you didn't take him where you did in fantasy drafts, he's a drop candidate.
Yeah, he wouldn't be on the team.
So yeah, it's just disappointing. He's had over 35% of the snaps twice this season, and that was 46 and 50. Topped off at 50% of the snaps against Buffalo.
Treyveyon Henderson was on average taken 46th in the draft.
There you go.
Across all leagues. That's
the fifth round, and that's average. So it had climbed. That's considering where he was at the start of drafts and where he was at the end. So he may have gone in the third in some rounds.
That's wow. Yeah, I mean that's such disappointment this year. And also I think like just to put a little bit on him, he's not doing anything with these carries. No. He got 9 carries yesterday.
Yeah. 27
yeah, like he not really doing the explosive plays aren't really there.
Yeah.
But just what doesn't make sense that Ramondre's he's fumbled, he's not running for very many yards.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason that we can point to Ramondre Stevenson as someone that deserves those carries. And yet just inexplicably Vrabel's just going back to the well over and over again. It's one of the weirdest things I've seen.
And it's because of what Ramondre is not doing that I'm still saying hold. I'm not saying sell with Treyveyon Henderson. Right. Don't drop him. Don't sell him for peanuts, because Ramondre Stevenson is doing everything a running back does when they lose a backfield. It's just not happening yet.
He's doing it all wrong.
We're just watching and hoping, okay, are they even paying attention to this?
Yeah, he's part of your team long leash.
Yeah.
Who's your quarterback?
Captain Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Herbert, Ramondre, yeah. Who's
I should put that team together. Team long leash.
Team long leash for sure. My dud for sure. Mark Andrews. My dud this week is Garrett Wilson, and I feel bad even putting his name up there because he's a dog, and I have no doubt about who Garrett Wilson is as a player, but 0 net passing yards, 45 passing yards in total. For Justin Fields this week, 3 for 8 for 13 yards for Garrett Wilson. It's just not someone you can rely on. It's just not someone you can rely on because of the offense he's in. I hate that he signed a contract there. I hate that he signed up for this. I hate that he's tied to either Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor this year because he's just a better receiver than that. But I would say, and I know you have him on one of our main leagues, but I would just give advice to anyone out there who's relying on him right now and has ridden him kind of to a hot start. I would sell high on Garrett Wilson. I don't think you want to be caught in a position later where he does this in a playoff game. And it could happen. Let me check their schedule real quick for the playoffs.
I have it right here. If I can get this screen to move. Okay, so week 14, they've got start of the playoffs. They've got Jacksonville week 15, week 16, New Orleans, week 17, New England. So, and the thing is, yesterday on Sunday, he had the clamps put on him with Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
If you've got him on a championship team week 17, he's getting Christian Gonzalez. And that's
even week 15. They don't have slouches.
Yeah, Jackson. Yeah. And the thing is, when he's in an offense like this where he is the only option, that's what's going to happen. And Patrick Surtain didn't even really shadow him. There were several opportunities where Patrick Surtain wasn't guarding him. But yeah, it's just, I watched that whole game, that whole London game. Justin Fields is just, I mean, bad. Wow.
This is going to be the number 1 pick in the next year's draft.
Yeah. And so here's the thing with Garrett Wilson, and just, you either love him or you don't. I love Garrett Wilson. I've had him all 4 years in our dynasty league. Traded him back several times, but at some point every year he's been in the league, I've had him on my team, and I'm just consistently playing the wait till he gets a quarterback game. I think I've got one more year of that in me. But yeah, this year, and I think especially we're talking redraft, I think you do go ahead and sell high with Garrett Wilson, and kind of sell the, it was Patrick Surtain. I do think that definitely played a factor, but I don't think it was 100% the reason why he struggled. He's not the reason he struggled. It's this team and this offense. And now he's got the hyperextended knee. He's going to miss a few weeks. We'll see what it looks like when he comes back. But it's exactly what you said. If you're relying on a guy in an offense like this during the playoffs, that's a dangerous game.
Right. Yeah. So Garrett Wilson, I think we covered it pretty well there. It's one of the, to me, saddest situations. Him and Breece Hall just stuck in fantasy hell over there in New York. All right, let's move on now to our waiver wires going into week number 7. AJ, why don't you get started?
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm going to go with the secondary pass catchers for the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore spent the night in the hospital for an injury that it's undisclosed. We have no idea what the injury was. Maybe it's by the time you're watching this, maybe that's been updated. But here we are around noon Pacific time on Tuesday, and we have no idea what this injury was. He spent the night in the hospital. That's not a good sign. That doesn't spell that he's going to be back maybe this season at all. So the thing with the other Bears pass catchers, and that being Luther Burden, Cole Kmet, and Colston Loveland, is especially with Luther Burden, we're just waiting for an opportunity. They put real draft stock into him. We were just waiting for an opportunity, and the opportunity is now here. He totaled 51 yards on Monday night, 4 targets, 4 receptions. He's a good receiver. He was one of the top receiver prospects in this draft, and his fantasy stock plummeted when he got drafted to the Bears.
Right.
It's kind of seems like he was a name that a lot of people had forgotten about. And now, if you had already drafted him and you were waiting, claim your reward. But now he's 25% rostered in sleeper leagues. He should be available in your league. If you're in just kind of a regular friends and family league, he should be there and be available. And I would go get Luther Burden. On the other side, I would go get Cole Kmet, and I would go get Colston Loveland because one of these guys has to be the second option now in this offense, which they want to get Caleb Williams to pass the ball. They want to get that going. Yeah, DeAndre Swift had a great game. I don't think that's going to happen more than twice again this year. So go get some of these pass catchers. Again, that's Luther Burden, that's Cole Kmet, or that's Colston Loveland.
I do actually have an update here. About 26 minutes ago, Ben Johnson gave an update. He said, I think we got some good news in that regard. I think he'll be day-to-day going forward. It was a growing deal that he was dealing with, but I think we're going to be okay.
He spent the night in the hospital over a groin?
It's probably not a muscle groin. It's probably something internal. But I'm big on Luther Burden, though. I'm glad you brought him up. Like, Lamine Zaccheaus has run 3 times the routes that Luther Burden has run. And you look at what Luther Burden does with the ball in his hands. Look what he did last night. And it's just like, how does a Lamine Zaccheaus not like on the field more than this guy? I think it's just coming for them. I think management believes in him. I think he's going to get a shot. I think we even saw Colston Loveland involved more than prior weeks last night as well. So I think both those guys are coming on. Keep an eye on this DJ Moore thing. I think anyone but those guys, I would probably be a little more cautious on. But I think whatever happens with DJ Moore, I think I'm going for those guys anyway. I think those are
regardless of the injury or not. I think the time was taken on DJ Moore in Chicago. It's
not like he was a big part of the offense already. He was already getting phased out.
And let's bring to attention that Colston Loveland and Luther Burden are the very first draft picks made by Ben Johnson by Ben Johnson's regime.
Yep.
DJ Moore was not one of those guys. So he wanted these players for a reason. He wants to use these players, and they're both rookies. You just got to be patient. You got to be patient, wait for their time to come, and then hopefully you've got them when their time comes.
My waiver wire pickup this week is Harold Fannin Jr. He was a waiver wire pickup for me earlier in the season, and then he's been okay. He's been kind of treading water.
You've brought him up on this show.
He's been kind of treading water, and it's been a slower breakout. That first week, he was 9 targets, 7 catches, double-digit fantasy points, but it's his snap share. And I know David Njoku got hurt yesterday, but even before that, in week 3, he went from 64 to snap share to week 4, 85% snap share, 79 and then 80, and it hasn't dipped. And now Njoku's hurt, and double-digit points in 2 of those 3 weeks. I just think the breakout's happening, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. I got offers for Harold Fanning this morning, just because I think it's starting to go around circles that Harold Fanning is breaking out in Cleveland in a place where it seems like they're going to play through their tight ends. Dylan Gabriel looks like he does not want to throw to anyone other than a tight end. He threw lots of Jerry Jeudy yesterday for like no catches, no yards. I think it's going to be the tight ends in this offense. And last 3 weeks, 80% snap share, like I was saying, 6+ targets in each game, and a season high yesterday in targets and receiving yards. Miami's next. I would go get Fannin and put him in your lineup, and he's a must start for me next week. And then let's see how things continue to get figured out there in Cleveland. And I think that's a guy you could rely on going down the stretch here.
Yeah, Cleveland definitely likes to play through their tight ends. The reason David Njoku was such a great, I don't want to say sleeper name, but just kind of that he was the first tier 2 tight end that a lot of people were looking at this season.
Yeah.
Is because listen to some of these target numbers he had last year. He had 3 games with 7 targets. He had a game with 9, a game with 13, game with 10, game with 14, and he had a game with 17 targets last season. 17 targets.
Yeah.
So if Harold Fannin is just now stepping into that role, personally, I think a better pass catching tight end than David Njoku.
Right.
Then sky's the limit. And Njoku's got a knee now. He's 29 years old. He was
already on the trade block.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they knew what was coming with David Njoku. That's why they drafted this guy. He was one of the best tight end prospects in college. And he's proving that now, and now he's going to get the opportunity. So now you've got talent and opportunity. It's awesome. Only 51% rostered in sleeper leagues.
Guys, I want to mention real quick, Kendrick Bourne, what he's doing, that might be sustainable because Jawan Jennings, did you hear him after the game?
I read a little bit about what he said.
Broken ribs.
Yeah,
something
5
with
broken
knee.
ribs.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if we believe him or not. It might be a little bit of Tyson, the spinal thing. But I mean, he's obviously banged up. Ricky Pearsall has kind of just been like, when is he going to be ready type thing. Kendrick Bourne, if he is on your waivers, I don't know why he would be. But maybe he is, or maybe he's getting dropped, with other weapons going by. I would sneak him on. And then Tajae Spears, AJ, I don't know if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Took over in snap share yesterday. 59% snap share, 4 targets. So doubled up the targets from Pollard and took most of the snap share. Brian Callahan gets fired. And so we'll see what happens with his offense. But if they're in a passing situation like we think they're going to be the rest of the year, Tajae Spears is the guy to own there. That might be a nice pickup for a lot of you.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing with Tajae Spears. We're never wrong. We're only early. We've been early on Tajae Spears for about 2 years now, and I think it's going to happen now. They really like him in this offense. The last time he was healthy, he played very well when he was that complimentary back to Derrick Henry. That seems like ages ago. Right. His rookie season 2 years ago. So yeah, Tajae Spears. I think if he's available, go get Tajae Spears or go put in a trade offer for him. He's only rostered in 33% of leagues.
I was going to say, I don't think he's coming off the injury, so
yeah,
he's not on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah, no, definitely go pick him up.
Also, if Pollard gets traded,
yep.
Jeez,
I mean, now there's a big market for running backs for several teams, and apparently Alvin Kamara is not available,
not on the list.
So a guy like Tony Pollard might be on the move.
Breece Hall might be too available, might be too expensive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got any more?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a quick conversation on 2 receivers, LA Rams, Jordan Whittington, and then New England Patriots, Kayshon Boutte. So one thing I like to do on this show is kind of bring this up, these 2 different scenarios on what the situation is with your team. If you are down Puka Nacua, if you are down CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, this is where you go get somebody like Jordan Whittington. He ended up playing 92% of the snaps. That's in the game that Puka Nacua went down. The thing with Puka is extremely talented. Do not take what I'm saying here as me thinking that Puka is not him. Puka's him. But he is put in a position that a lot of receivers can succeed in this offense. Maybe obviously not to the degree that he succeeds, but I think Sean McVay will slide Jordan Whittington into this Puka Nacua role, and he will provide serviceable weeks for you while you are maybe down your number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
He is not a rest of season ad, though.
Right.
I think the rest of season ad is Kayshon Boutte in New England. This is his third year. I am an absolute sucker for third-year wide receivers. Mm-hmm. They never fail. They never fail me. Third-year wide receivers. That is the big wide. You talk a lot about the second-year wide receiver breakouts. That's for the big name guys. That's for your Puka Nacuas, your Justin Jeffersons, right. Those guys. But you're seeing it right now with Quentin Johnson in his third year.
Right.
You saw it with Nico Collins in his third year. You saw it with Amon-Ra St. Brown in his third year. I think Kayshon Boutte is the next third-year wide receiver breakout. He had five catches on 5 targets for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. In this New England Patriots, and apparently this was the New England Patriots show for me this week. In this Patriots offense, where Drake Maye is just coming into his own, I'm not relying on Stephon Diggs. Me and you had this conversation outside of the show. Yeah. I think Stephon Diggs had gotten up for that Buffalo matchup. And I think he's going to come right back down to earth. He's not getting 13 targets a game again. I think Kayshon Boutte's going to steadily take over. There was a lot of talk about Kyle Williams before the season started. Where is Kyle Williams? I haven't heard his name once this season. But I think a guy like Kayshon Boutte, if you're in a good situation, you're healthy, but you've got somebody like Hollywood Brown, don't hold on to Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice is back. Right. Drop him. Go get a guy like Kayshon Boutte that can sit on your bench and you can wait, and he can possibly become a thing for you by the time playoffs roll around.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would, because you asked about both those guys to start, and that's exactly how I would answer it too. I think short term, Whittington was drafted and has been groomed to be the Puka Nacua 2 to 4 starts a year guy. Yep. I think he's going to step right into that role, and I think he'll have a lot of catches. I don't think he'll match the touchdowns or the big plays, but I think he'll fill that role because he moves and plays like Nacua. Exactly. He's like a Nacua clone. I don't think he has like the athleticism or the insanity that Puka Nacua plays with.
But he's going to get 9 or 10 targets because defenses are going to key in on Devontae Adams. He's going to get the targets.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that. I saw Jordan Whittington twice in training camp. And he's a possession receiver. Yep. He's exactly what Puka Nacua was when he started. I don't know if the high end is there for him. I would even guess no. He's already 25. He kind of is what he is. Right. But I think he's going to step in. I think he'll give you flex-worthy games the next couple of weeks until Puka comes back. And then Kayshon Boutte, I'm not as high on him as you are as far as like long-term he's going to become the number 1 and break out. But I do think if there's a receiver I want to own for the rest of the year in this Patriots offense, it's Kayshon Boutte. It's not Stephon Diggs. It's probably Hunter Henry, to be honest, but Kayshon Boutte would be the right receiver I'd want for sure. And it's just hard to start him for me at this point.
Yeah.
Like you're really going to have to see some kind of pattern develop here. But I think that, I don't know if Diggs is going to be around. I'm wondering if they make a move for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
At some point here, they obviously have been
desperate. They've been hungry the last 2 years.
Desperate.
Like, oh my God. And now with Drake Maye playing the way he is, it might be a little more favorable of a destination for some wide receivers.
All right, man. That's all I got. Guys, I'll see you next week or later on this week. More fantasy content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following all the socials. Bye.
Peace.